Well, guys, it's episode 26 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show, and my oh my, there's a lot of firsts. There's been a lot of lasts this past weekend. Some of the lasts, hopefully being Kyle Busch's win in Atlanta, which it should be, because if he comes back next year, major troll alert. But anyways. Welcome to episode 26 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. As always, Elijah Leonard, the host. And thankfully, we've got a third person in here. Obviously, we have Wyatt, who is the weekly attendee. We also got Taylor in here, who is also a weekly attendee, but now just making his return.
Hello, kids.
What in the world?
Well.
Okay, then.
I don't think you'd want kids watching this, because after all, I did mark this show as not made for kids.
Rats. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There we go.
That sounds better. That sounds better.
All right. So, man, like I said, we've had some firsts, we've had some lasts. One of those firsts being, things finally paid off for Kurt Busch. Finally got his first win of the year. It took him a while, but he managed to get it done.
And a good win for him, too, especially since earlier a couple weeks we found out that his team got sold to Trackhouse, and we don't know if he's going to have a ride. It's good to see him still getting wins. It shows he's still contention of getting wins. And he wants to be in the next gen next year, so
yeah,
it's pretty good. And don't forget about the old shake and bake with him and his teammate Ross Chastain.
Oh my gosh, man! Kyle was so mad about that.
He was.
I was just like, dude, if you were in the position Kurt was in, one of your teammates probably would have done the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's a shake. Oh yeah, that's what teammates are for, and Kyle's just like, that's how he races. Like, that's a teammate. You gotta help your teammate. That's what screwed Larson in the first race.
Exactly.
He wore out his tires, but his other Penske teammates slowed Larson down.
Right.
It was a teammate deal.
That's literally all that it was. I mean, Ross did not do anything wrong at all. I mean, he knew Kurt was in second, per information from the spotter, and was given information that Kurt won at the bottom, so he held Kyle up so that way Kurt could have the bottom. It's a shake and bake thing, and it's a teammate thing. You do what you gotta do in order to make sure that either if you both can't finish 1-2, somebody is gonna have to win that thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's a good thing that was Kurt Busch. And I remember reading back like a couple weeks ago, he was 100 points below the cut line, and now look at him. Now he's above the cut line, and he won the race. Yeah. So now he's officially in the playoffs with that win. And he's not going to stop there. He might go. Maybe
might go back to back. We'll see.
I don't know about back to back, but just
we'll see. We haven't heard from you in a while, Taylor. What are your thoughts about this weekend?
Well, for it being the last Atlanta race on that surface, it was very wild and very interesting with what happened there with Ross Chastain and the Busch brothers. And I honestly did not expect Kurt Busch to go out there and dominate like he did. I expected Hendrick to get up there and kick butt like they'd been doing on the 1.5 miles, but Ganassi came out and kicked butt this time.
Yeah, to add on to what you're saying, I think all of us were thinking Larson To be honest,
Yeah.
we're thinking Larson would be the
100%.
one going, but then no one expected Kurt Busch to do that. And I want to point out, we're talking a lot about Atlanta, but what about Knoxville? We didn't really talk about Knoxville a whole lot and how much
I've
hell
heard
that was.
I heard. I mean, like I watched Iceberg's video about like what drivers were thinking about Knoxville. Some of the more experienced guys were I think mad at some of the younger drivers for the way that they were raced at Knoxville. I think it was more just it was. Let's just put it this way in a nutshell. Knoxville was insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a bunch of wreck. Had to go 4 overtimes.
Yeah, one of which caused a big crash going into turn 1.
A huge crash. I like NASCAR made a little meme saying like public lobbies on NASCAR on NASCAR.
The funny thing is that it's so true.
It's true. Just like I played a bunch, and I'm finally back on it. Because I finally got my membership back, and
Yeah.
I've been on there, and I'm still doing the situation. I'm still messing with, still trying to deal with all that.
That is funny though, but man, I mean, honestly, I might have to go back and see who I chose as the driver to win, but
I know my driver to stay away from was the driver who won that race. I did not think. Wait, is that it? Oh yeah, I didn't type it. I said it. I did not think Austin Hill was going to do good on dirt.
No, I didn't think so either. I was not. He was nowhere near like my list of drivers who had a chance of winning at all. If anything, I thought he was going to be that dark horse pick where he would do good, he would run well, but just like not get up there and race for the lead. You know. What I mean?
Also, I'm looking at your picks, Taylor. I don't think you're going to get a point for your stay away since he didn't even start the race in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah.
So, and I feel bad for Michael in that he was in that Knoxville race and he got hurt.
It sounds like he got hurt pretty bad. No,
Yeah.
it was Chris Windom. Chris Windom took over for him. That was it. Because Annette was originally announced to race at Knoxville. He practiced the truck and everything. But then it was announced that Chris Windom would take over. Because of the femur, right? Femur, I think it was.
And then Austin Dillon replaced him in the Xfinity race. And then now we got Josh Berry taking over for him in the one car, which he's done pretty good. I think Josh Berry's going to get a full-time ride in the Xfinity Series, if not the Truck Series.
Honestly, I agree. Josh Berry is like I feel like ever since he's been pulling off some of these one-offs here and there in previous years with Junior Motorsports, and now that he's finally being brought up to race more and more, I think this is the most that he's ever raced in some of the top divisions in NASCAR ever this year. Mostly in Xfinity, a little bit in trucks, but still, hey, I mean, this is the best that he's ever performed. I mean, hey, for his first year with a vast majority of his schedule being some top-level NASCAR levels, kind of like Xfinity and trucks, and one Cup race, which was actually really impressive, so, you know.
Mm-hmm. I actually forgot.
Yeah. But yeah, Josh Berry, I feel like if he can keep doing what he's doing, if he can maybe win maybe a couple more short track races, which that is possible that it could happen. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could get a full-time ride in Xfinity or truck.
I'm not a fan of like drivers going from like skipping trucks to Xfinity, but I think I can exclude Josh Berry from that because how well he's doing Xfinity. Yeah. I think it will be okay because he could probably, if he gets to Junior Motorsports a full-time ride, he could probably do some damage.
Yeah.
And
really
and we're still talking about Xfinity. Tough break for Daniel Hemrick at Atlanta.
Yeah.
He cannot get a damn win for nothing.
I feel so bad for Hemrick. I feel like he's that guy. I don't know who I'd like compare him to, but basically he's that driver who is so close. He's kind of like what Casey Kane was in 2004, right? Like right in his rookie year when he did so good, but just there'd be some form of adversity that would just bite him in the rear end.
I'll give you another guy, Chase Elliott.
That's true.
His first and second year in a Cup Series before he went to the 9 and started winning races after Watkins Glen.
Yeah, that's another example.
Elliott has been second place so many times on those races. He could have won those races. He almost got his first win in 2017 twice.
Yeah. Dover, honestly, I feel like Dover probably would have been one of his best chances. I mean, Michigan was another track that kind of proved that as well because he finished second there, let's see, maybe like 3 straight times at that particular time. And as far as...
I can't wait to talk about Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Switching back to Dover, I mean, as far as Chase Elliott is concerned, back in 2017, he would have had it, man. If it weren't for Ryan Newman, he would have had that thing in the bag, man. like, I'm sorry, but, like, when Ryan Newman, I understand that he's been deemed one of the hardest guys to pass, but, dude, if you're a slow car and if you're a lap down, stay out of the way. I don't care if you're the toughest dude to pass. Don't pull that crap near the end of the race.
Matt the Benedetto, who would probably agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like,
Matt the Benedetto is another person because he is so close to getting his first win. He just needs to get there. He's so close. He's been so close so many times.
He knows what he has to do. It's just getting that last puzzle piece put into place, and pretty soon he'll get that first win. Maybe he might. Chances are he could do it at Bristol, but we'll see. But I don't know. I don't know yet. None of us really know yet. So I mean, Bristol's one of his favorite racetracks. So I mean, hey, that's a plus. So we'll see what happens.
The track he has the most success in.
Exactly. Okay, so, getting back on track here, now it's time to grade the Knoxville-Atlanta weekend. So, let me go ahead and ask you gentlemen this. If you could give this Knoxville-Atlanta weekend a rank from A to F, what would it be and why?
This is a tough decision because, you have to match through all 3 races, and you had some who had a couple of great finishes, great stuff, and then you got Knoxville, a hell house, if you would.
Exactly what Bowman Gray is.
You got all that. You got the hell house there. You got the Leech and Xfinity Series, and you got one of the awesome competitive races between brothers I've seen in a long time. And they're 2 for 2. Each one. Kyle Busch have won 2 finishes. Kyle Busch won Kurt twice, and then Kurt Busch won Kyle Busch twice. So, I may have to go middle. I think I'm going to go a B.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because it's hard to get the balance between all of them. I guess to go for the middle. B.
That's good. All right. What you got,
Taylor?
Well, yeah, Knoxville was a very interesting first time there. I think we saw more of a demolition derby at Knoxville than anything. But I will give the weekend an A-.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You know, honestly, I think that race at Knoxville, that should have been deemed like the Knoxville Dirt Derby, if anything. That probably should be the name of the race next year. But yeah, Knoxville, man. I mean, there was a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential with Knoxville. I feel like if I were to go back and watch the race, like all the way through, which they finally put up the full race replay, so I'll probably go back and watch that this weekend. I would think that, I mean, Knoxville, I mean, we saw with SRX, I mean, even though that's not, there was only a dozen cars there versus 40 trucks or something like that. I mean, for what it was there, I mean, in that series, it was good. It was good racing. It was very clean. It was, I mean, aggressive at times, but I mean, it was good. It was a very consistent balance. This truck race, I mean, if I were to go back and watch it, I'd have mixed feelings about it. I'd say it does have some good racing, but it was just a wreck fest near the end from just the looks of it. I've only just seen that one replay where there was that crash on one of those overtimes heading into turn one, where it was just a pile up getting into that first corner. That was all I saw. I mean, I didn't see anything else there. But you know, and then you got the Xfinity race, obviously with Kyle Busch winning. We all knew that was going to happen. Kurt Busch, I mean, that honestly, that Cup race had to have been the best race of the entire weekend. Like, seriously, that really was the best race of the whole weekend. I mean, despite this being the last race with this old Atlanta, not just the pavement, but also the configuration that the track is in, it provided some really, really good action. I mean, just phenomenal. That has to be the best race of the entire weekend. Unfortunately, however, it does not make up for the fact, this whole weekend doesn't make up for the fact that Kyle Busch had to just ruin it all by winning the Xfinity race. I'm not saying that the whole week went to crap. I'm just saying that particular branch of the week, Xfinity, kind of went to crap because of Kyle Busch winning. So therefore, B+. Alrighty, so when we come back, we've got some topics that we're going to go ahead and discuss, and hopefully I can make some more ads while I'm at it. Hopefully there's some more ads that are playing, so stick around, folks. We'll be right back. We are back for episode 26 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. As always, Elijah Leonard with you, alongside Wyatt Walker and Zachary Taylor. So we've got some more topics that I want to discuss. I wanted to revisit the Atlanta reconfiguration topic from last week, and get some more thoughts in here, because I've been watching some more. I watched the Iceberg's video earlier about like NASCAR drivers speaking up and being more angrier than they ever have been, because they're not being involved in some of the processes that NASCAR creates. This being one of them, because the way that they came up with this new configuration was through I think it was through data, but mostly it was through simulations and iRacing that they came up with this reconfiguration, and this is what they're going to go with. And I think fans may be furious with this too, but also I think a lot of the main core of what NASCAR should be going with, I mean as far as like listening to, is the drivers as well. So this might be a lead into the second topic, or the second question that I have here on this list here. So the first question is, hearing all these other reactions to this Atlanta reconfiguration, what do you think of it? And as far as the processes that NASCAR puts together, so that way we can make more safer race cars and tracks and cooler things and all that, should NASCAR drivers be involved in those processes?
I'd say maybe, because like they do have their own voice, their own opinion and stuff. But also they got, for the track and stuff, they have to look at what happened during the race. We had a good red flag minute, good bit of red flag, because a chunk of the track came up.
Yeah.
Came off it, which proves that we need to repave this now. So, I know the drivers don't like it. I mean, I think a lot of the old NASCAR fans don't like Atlanta being repaved, but it needs to happen sooner or later.
No, I'm talking more about the reconfiguration, like what they're going to do to the racetrack, not just the repaving. Like,
yeah,
obviously, we all knew it was a matter of time that the track was going to get repaved, but reconfigured into this miniature super speedway.
Yeah, I'm still the same as of last time. I mean, like, we don't know what we're going to expect, and just I don't know. You just don't know what till it happens. Right. You got anything, Taylor?
Well, I think it is going to be interesting to go back to Atlanta once they do get it all redone and everything, and get it reconfigured, how they're going to do it and everything. I do think the drivers, though, should kind of voice their opinion on what they want, though, as far as repaving and redesigning tracks go. But, I do think it was time for Atlanta to get a new surface, though.
Turning on my bigger fan. Sorry, I was trying to listen as well, but my thing with it is more of just I mean, as far as the reconfiguration of turning this 1.33 mile, or no, yeah, close to a mile and a half racetrack, I'll say that, into this miniature super speedway where you're mixing actual super speedway racing onto a mile and a half track. To me, that just doesn't sound right, and if I were to like vision it, it doesn't even look right either, because like it feels out of place in some sense. Like I would honestly think that, I mean, obviously as far as the repave, it's about time. It's been a matter of time before this happens. I mean, the drivers should have seen it coming. The fans should have seen this coming as well. And, I mean, this past weekend was actually a really good indicator that it's time to get this thing repaved. But to go as far as reconfiguring this racetrack into a brand new, never-seen-before experience, and the drivers not be involved in that process, obviously is frustrating to the drivers, because they are just as much a part of NASCAR as a part of the sport as everybody else behind the scenes is a part of NASCAR as well. So I feel like the drivers should be involved in that process. I feel like they need to be involved in those processes, because that way the drivers can help the other like officials, other people who work on the tracks, who work on the cars, to make sure that they're better, to make sure that they drive better as well, and everything else that just goes along with it. That's so, in my opinion, this Atlanta reconfiguration, although it does sound impressive, although it probably may, even once it's done, look impressive, it just, super speedway racing on a close to a mile and a half track, it just doesn't roll off the tongue all that well, and it just doesn't look. It just doesn't look right to me. That's just me, though.
Yeah, it does sound pretty weird.
But alrighty. So shifting over into this next topic here, and this actually is pretty big news. Larson recently just got himself a contract extension and would be fully sponsored through 2023. So I mean, that's actually some really big news for not just for Larson, but for Hendrick Motorsports themselves, because I just feel like that Larson is one of the strongest key components to the team. Any thoughts?
I agree, and a good thing, and especially since after watching a video today about Hendrick Motorsports and how it's evolved since its first ever win, and now you got like past petty enterprises with a whole bunch of wins in their column. You got Hendrick, a whole bunch of different drivers, a whole bunch of different teams, and I'm sorry, a whole bunch of different drivers in this team at different points of time. It just when Larson came in, no one really thought he was going to do good. Now he has 4 wins, 4 in a row if you count the All-Star race. He's been on the ball. He's the top guy. He's the top guy at Hendrick right now. He's the new guy, and he's top.
Yeah.
He's top. He's even top. He's even higher than the champion, who hasn't been doing the best. But you look back and all them, Hendricks has been on the ball, and especially when they brought Larson. It's good. It's getting pretty good. I could see another Hendrick driver winning it and winning a championship this year, and Larson may be able to, if it's not this year, probably either 2022 or 2023 since the extension. I think he's going to get longer. I think he's going to get another extension that's longer.
Oh,
what about you, Taylor?
Well, most definitely I would agree. Larson's been ripping the track up this year, and I don't know that anybody really expected him to win as much as he has. I figured Larson would probably have a couple wins right now, but not quite as many as what he's got. So I do think it was a good move by Hendrick Motorsports to give him a few more years on his contract.
Yeah. And I feel like just the team, I don't know. I just feel like Larson is probably just having kind of like that similar, rejuvenance. Obviously it's rejuvenation of Kyle Larson. This is a much better Kyle Larson than we've ever seen before. This is a Kyle Larson who not only is at the top of his game, but is also having probably kind of like a similar success story as to kind of what Jeff Gordon did back in the mid to late 90s. This is kind of like a mirror picture of that. Obviously, he probably may not get 13 wins this year, that being Larson, but he very well could at the same time, so I might be just kind of saying things, but I'll
be impressed if he gets at least 10 wins this season, because like we've been saying, he's been on the ball. The playoffs haven't even started yet. I think he wins some playoff races too.
He's gonna do it. He will win some playoff races. Like, that's a guarantee right there. It doesn't even matter which ones they're gonna be. He'll win them, 100%. But no, Larson, I think is having him get a contract extension. Through 2023. That's big. That's great. And we're going to see Larson win more races in the coming years. So watch out for the 5. But, all right. So when we come back... Oh, what were you going to say?
I just said, oh, yeah, that's all I said.
Oh. Let's say, when we come back, we're going to be previewing New Hampshire. And we're going to be making our predictions from there. So don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
I need my dentures.
And we're back for the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. And, folks, we're looking ahead to Loudon. See, after the 21st race at Atlanta, we only have 5 more races left before the chase starts. We have 4 spots that are currently open, one of which most likely is going to get locked in via points. That is Denny Hamlin. So, folks, 5 races left in the chase. As I said, well, 5 races left before the chase. Just to rephrase myself right there. What do you think we're going to see at Loudon?
Unless we see, like, any of these guys, like, below the playoffs or, like, above the cut line and stuff win, I really don't see we'll see, like, a surprise winner win these. Daytona's coming up, but I think we're going to have another repeat winner here at New Hampshire.
All right.
Taylor?
Bobby?
Well, who knows really what we're going to see at New Hampshire? I mean, with it being a really flat racetrack, it makes it interesting for the drivers to race on. And New Hampshire's always had fuel mileage for the most part. Most of the time, we see fuel mileage races, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, yeah, that'll definitely be something to kind of keep our eyes on. So, to give you a little rundown of what the playoff standings look like, and I have the NBC version of this pulled up. Why it may be looking at is different, but I don't know until I actually read this off. So, as I said earlier, the final 4 spots are open. I mean, that's as far as points is concerned. Denny Hamlin is 369 points up above the cut line, so most likely 100% he's gonna get locked in, no question.
But the question is, what race is he going to get locked in? Because I don't think he's going to get locked in New Hampshire. I hope my prediction is like he gets locked in at Watkins Glen.
Yeah,
maybe the Indy Roval. Indy Roval.
Yeah. So Harvick, as I was saying earlier, is 159 points above the cutoff line. Austin Dillon is 104 up. Then you have Tyler Reddick, who is on the bubble with 96 points above the cutoff line. Then we get to some of the drivers who are below the cutoff line. You got Chris Buescher, 96 out. You have Nat DiBenedetto, 138 out. Ross Chastain, 145. Bubba Wallace, 148. So, as I mentioned, with 5 races left, gentlemen, can one of those 4 drivers maybe luck their way in on points, or maybe luck a win out so that way they can get in?
Well, I'm going to add on to your playoff format because everything's correct. I'm going to add Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is back 161, and then Daniel Suarez minus 179 on that playoff cut grid on the below cutoff. But I want to say this: out of all the guys in the bubble who there's 3 guys I see, but 2 of them are not having the best years.
Yeah.
I'd say, of course, when I see New Hampshire, one of the first people I think about is Kevin Harvick. He's won there good amount of times, but the year he's had is not. My gut's telling me Harvick, but he's not having a good season. I don't see it. I really do not see Kevin Harvick winning this year.
Yeah.
Along with Denny Hamlin. So, no, just they're not who I think. But if one of the people on the bubble who can get up there, how about the guy who finished the first top 5? No, not the first top 5. He said he had one before, but how about one of his best finishes? What about Matt DiBenedetto?
Oh yeah.
Matt DiBenedetto's pretty okay there, and he's been doing good week after week. Matty D may have something.
I mean, there's a really good chance. I mean, any of those 4 drivers who are like within these final 4 spots inside of the top 20, I mean, they could make something happen. As you mentioned earlier, Stenhouse, maybe Daniel Suarez could make something happen. I mean, of those 2 who are outside of the top 20, I'd say Suarez may have a slightly stronger chance based on consistency. I mean, we've seen drivers get into the chase via consistency, but we'll see.
Well, for Suarez, I think after Kurt Busch won, Suarez dug a hole because, like, unless he wins and unless he gets really good finishes and everyone else just starts sucking, I don't see Daniel Suarez getting in there now because he's like 100. He's almost 200 points back, and the highest one is like Chris Busch, which is 96.
And But I mean, like, the reason why I say that is because, I mean, Trackhouse, I mean, obviously, I mean, since this is their first year, they've generally done pretty well, I mean, for their first year. And they've come close to winning a couple of times. I mean, as far as what you said there, minus 179 below the cutoff line, it is, I mean, obviously it is kind of a long shot to get in there on consistency. You'd have to hope a lot of drivers have a lot of bad luck within the final 5 races before the chase starts. But other than that, I mean, it depends on how he does in these last 5 races. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think, if I had to be honest, I think both Suarez and Stenhouse dug themselves a hole. If they could get out of it, I'll be impressed. Without a win. But it may just end up becoming between the top 4 between Buescher, DeBedel, Chastain, and Wallace.
Right. I'd probably think the same thing too. Alrighty. So now it is time to get on down to predictions. So we're now back to singles points since we are over at Loudon. We don't have any more inaugural races until we get over to Indy, I believe, for the Cup Series, since they're doing the Indy Roll. Right. But
actually, no. Trucks at Watkins Glen.
Well, trucks haven't been there in a long time, so let's say that's their first race back. But anyways, here we go. The driver so basically how we do our predictions is we go as follows. The driver who we think is going to win, that's pretty self-explanatory. The driver to stay away from is the driver who really hasn't been doing well the last couple of weeks, but also coming up to a racetrack where they may be sucking at the most. Dark Horse is the exact opposite. It's 1 point per category this week, as I mentioned earlier, and we finally have ourselves that 3rd panelist. So, Zachary Taylor, you are up first.
Alrighty, let's get down to business here. Okay, driver to stay away from in Xfinity. I'm gonna say Matt Mills. Just kidding. Okay, no. Okay, my real driver to stay away from. Tell you what, this driver has been having a rough season, and given the type of equipment that's under him, I'm going to have to say Brandon Jones is my driver to stay away from. My dark horse, we were actually talking about him just a little bit ago. I'm taking Josh Berry as a dark horse. I'm curious to see how he's going to do in that one car. So, he's my dark horse. My driver to win. I am going to take, he's been close a few times, I'm going to take Justin Haley as my driver to win Loudon.
That's a bold one. I don't know about that one. But also, before you make your cup picks, keep in mind we do have a cup leech in the Xfinity Series, and he actually has a win, so we can officially call him a leech. As much as I hate to say it. We got Christopher Bell in the 54.
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
Yeah.
And he's good at this track, too.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Far as cup predictions go, Driver to stay away from. I am going to say Kevin Harvick is my driver to stay away from.
Really?
With the way that Stewart Haas has been this year, with a roller coaster type year that they've had, and plus Harvick finishing like 25th or something a couple races ago, I want to say it was.
Yeah.
He's my driver to stay away from. All right, dark horse. You guys were actually mentioning him a few moments ago. I'm taking Bibby as my dark horse.
Oh, I do like that one.
I thought you said Bibby. I don't know why, but I thought you said Bibby.
Who knows?
Anyways. Alrighty. Driver to win. He is a prior winner at Loudon. And we just saw one driver with this last name just win. And I think the other one's going to win. I'm taking Rowdy as my winner.
I knew you were going to say him. When you said he was a prior winner, I'm like, oh god, is he going to pick Kyle Busch?
I mean, it is a good choice. Don't get me wrong.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Nah.
Wyatt, you're up.
Well, we got, like I said, we got to think smart because of the we do have a leech in here. Thankfully, it's not Kyle Busch. He's retired. Let me think here. This track is hard for Xfinity because there's not a lot of drivers here who are actually good here.
Yeah.
I don't really see a lot of people on this list that's actually won here, except for Christopher Bell. And I think he's going to end up winning it. He's pretty good. Bell's probably, he's not my pick, but I think Bell might end up winning this one. But if not, I'd say my dark horse. I'm gonna double down with Taylor. I'm gonna go Josh Berry. I think Josh Berry. I want to see how he does too. I agree with him. I think Josh Berry is a dark horse for this race. My driver to stay away from, though, I'm gonna go on that Stewart Haas trend. I think Riley Herbst.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
For the winner, this is the hard one because, like I said, it could be Christopher Bell. I also don't see any of the colleague guys getting it. I am hoping this is it for him. This is the day he gets it. So close. I'm pulling for Hemrick.
Oh yeah.
I'm pulling for Daniel Hemrick to win this race.
That
For
would
the-
be I was about to say, that would be a nice thing to roll off the tongue. Daniel Hemrick wins.
Now we got the Cup Series. This is another kind of difficult one. My dark horse. I'm actually going to agree with Taylor again. I think Matt DiBenedetto is going to be my dark horse.
Ooh.
Matt, like I said, Matt DiBenedetto is doing pretty good. I can see him good. I think this might be it.
Alright.
My driver to stay away from. As much as I want to say Kevin Harvick, I don't think so. I think he's going to be ahead of the. I don't think he's going to be top 10, but I think he's still going to be like top 20 and stuff. So I don't think Kevin Harvick. Harvick's not my stay away. I think I'm going to go with don't know. It's tough. You know what? Eric Jones. He has not been doing really well at all.
See, it's kind of funny you said Eric Jones because before you said that, I was looking right at his name.
Eric Jones he's not having a really, really good season.
Yeah.
No. I think Eric Jones. Eric Jones is going to win my driver. Stay away. My driver to win. It's most likely he's not going to, but I'm going to go big. I want to go big, give it a whirl, see what happens. I think it's going to get a doubleheader. With much that he's going to have Xfinity, might move up the cup, he might sweep the weekend. I think Christopher Bell.
That is actually a good pick. Not gonna lie, that is.
I'm gonna swing on this one. I think Christopher Bell might win this one.
All right. So it is come down to me.
Unfortunately.
All right. Anyways, here we go.
Run away.
So my driver to win. Yeah, this is also kind of tough here. This is actually pretty difficult to say. But man, what in the world? I don't even know, honestly. I'm gonna say if I had a driver to win, if I just had one particular driver in mind, this might be a little bit of a sleeper pick for a driver to win, but I'm gonna say Harrison Burton.
That's not bad. Not bad.
I mean, a part of it just kind of reminds me of like previous success that the Burtons had. I mean, most notably Jeff Burton. I mean, he led every single lap. So I mean, obviously it may not turn out to be exactly that for Harrison, but hey, he could go for a win. We'll see.
That's not bad. That's really good. I like that one.
My driver to stay away from, on the other hand, I mean, I don't know, because this is also, picking and choosing drivers as the driver to win and stay away from a dark horse is rather difficult because every time I choose somebody who hasn't been doing good, take for Austin Cindric, who proved this to me, for instance, I chose him as the driver to win at Nashville. Crashes. Choose him as the driver to stay away from for Pocono. He wins. So, I mean...
Never won a Pocono. Wait.
I think he did. I think he was the guy that won Pocono at, he won Pocono the next week.
I don't think you can win Pocono. I don't remember.
Anyways, so I'm not choosing Austin Cindric as the driver to stay away from. I'm probably just gonna kind of stay away from that pick. Riley Herbst is my driver to stay away from. Like, if you're gonna get on that Stewart-Haas Racing train of drivers who haven't really been doing all that great, or just the team as a whole, you'd probably put Riley Herbst on that list. Dark horse. Man, this is a juggle between two drivers here. I've got one in mind,
did win that race.
Another in mind. What's that?
He did win that race. My bad.
Yeah. I'm going to say for my dark horse, I'm going to say Justin Allgaier's my dark horse. I'm going to go ahead.
That's not bad.
I would say Josh Berry, but he's as good as he is. I mean, Allgaier just has a skosh more experience at Loudon. All right, now for the Cup. Let's see for my driver to win. Man, this is rather tough. I'm gonna say for my driver to win, I'm gonna hit this one on the head and see what happens. But I'm gonna say Denny Hamlin's my driver to win. I mean, hear me out on this one. I mean, he has had some success at Loudon. He's won there a few times.
He does, but at the same time, though, just like neither him or Harvick's been having a good season.
But However, though, they have to, I mean, at some point in the season, I mean, you remember 2017, Joe Gibbs Racing had not won a single race. Hamlin broke that, and then he won one more race after Loudon. So, I mean, he got 2 wins, and then Harvick, similar scenario, more wins after Loudon. So maybe the history could repeat itself another 2 years later, this time with Hamlin. We'll see. Driver to stay away from, however, that one's another one. That one's another one I think is going to be a little bit, it's going to be difficult to choose. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to say Bubba Wallace is my driver to stay away from. I can't think of anybody else. I'm sorry. I can't. My dark horse, however, I think this one's going to be a no-brainer. You chose him as the driver to win, Wyatt. I say he's my dark horse. Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
But, man, I mean, I feel like I didn't really put a lot of thought into those predictions. I feel like they're just kind of a little sloppy, but we'll see what happens once we get to that point. But alright, guys, so we've got our predictions in. We've gone over everything that we need to. Any final thoughts before we get this Loudon weekend underway?
Nope. But, let's see. Can't wait to see how this race goes. See how the points shift up, see who's locked in, and just can't wait.
Alright. About you, Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, we could see a big point shakeup this weekend. Who knows? That is something that could potentially happen.
Well, if that's the case, we're just going to have to keep our eyes open on the points and see what happens. So, anyways, thank you guys a lot for watching or listening to episode 26 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. If you guys like this, be sure to give it a like, and if you have not considered subscribing yet, I recommend you do so to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that about does it for me. On behalf of Wyatt Walker and Zachary Taylor, I'm Elijah Leonard, signing out, and we'll see you in the next one.